Good evening, Internet, and welcome to the latest Top Shift. The day is the 12th of August, and I am now in the iconic ship of the game, the Cobra Mark III. Now, if anybody's seen these Top Shifts before, you know that I've been in the Cobra before. That's way back in Alpha 4. However, they have made some changes to it, and I'll take you through them. In addition to that, I'll go through a couple of trading runs, exploration trading runs. These were ones that I've not tried before, so it won't be the usual iBooties and Dahan runs that everybody goes through in order to generate some hard cash. Now, the one thing I should point out here is that if I go to the galaxy map, we're an all-in Enterprise, by the way. One of the prettiest space stations we've seen, even back in the Alpha 4. It certainly blew people's minds. And we'll go through some of the options here in the galaxy map, or the Total Perspective Vortex Generator, as I call it. I'd advise you look that routine up on YouTube. Someone's just recently done an animation based on the Douglas Adams sketch. So what I think we'll do is, we've got that you can actually see the range that you've now got available to you using the Cobra. Now I'll just highlight this because it is very, very useful to know. If you see a light blue line or a cyan line, that means these ships are systems are reachable with your full 36 tons of cargo. However, the grey ones are normally available with whatever the cargo mass is underneath. So at the moment I've got selected 0 tons. And you can see here that I can actually reach BD plus 472112. Sorry, bad Crichton impression there. But if I raise the number of tons that I'll be carrying, so 13 tons is okay, but 21 tons is not. I got a sneaking suspicion 20 is. So if I wanted to reach BD 47211, the most I could take would be 20 tons of stuff. Anything more than that, it's out of your range. Now the reason that I have got a limited range in the Cobra is because I've actually managed to purchase 2 Class 4 weapons, which are pulse lasers, but because they're Class 4, they are actually quite expensive. So let's see where we've got. We've got weird over there, which would be nice. We've got an extraction economy. Now, an extraction economy straight to all-in. That sounds interesting. You could probably do something there. But I've already actually been to BD47. So I've never been to Rakapla. And that's an industrial economy. Now what is useful at an industrial economy? Well, let's see. Go to the map. Well, it seems that metals are coming from LHS 2887, so that's useful to remember. But let's take off metals. That's minerals, that's chemicals. Now all in is sending out chemicals all over the place, except to the place I want to go. So let's see what else is there. Weapons. Ooh, All-in seems to like to send weapons to Blog or Bog. God, that sounds like an orc name. Machinery, also useful for Blog. What is Blog? Info. Another industrial. A small federal industrial system whose claim to fame is the ARG Explorer Ventures Corporation. So let's see what else we've got around here. We've got, obviously rack pillar. But what else is here? That looks to be some kind of extraction economy. But there's nothing there. So that was... is that what people would call a dark system? Here we have a low population refinery economy. And finally Ross. And that is definitely an extraction. Now, if that's the case, we could probably get to Ross 1015 with a whole load of let's see what we got. Industrial materials, we don't want that. Medicines, medicines might go some way to help. What are we really looking for? HE suits would do. Advanced catalyzers. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some advanced catalyzers, say 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll fill up with the rest of HE suits. There we are.
Warning, cargo hold at maximum capacity.
And now I'm at 1,600 credits. There is no way I can afford any insurance if something goes wrong. And this is one of the problems that you have when you upgrade to a bigger ship, is that sometimes it might have been better to have traded just that little while longer to have a reserve. But we're in for a penny, in for a pound. We're going to set the target for there. And let's see how we do. And with a bit of luck, we will not have any weird behavior from the AI pilots. There has been bugs lately reported where the station will suddenly open fire on you for no apparent reason. Hopefully we won't come across one of them. But mostly, we hope that we don't come across somebody who's having a bad day in their own Anaconda or Sidewinder and decide to have a go. Because right at this moment in time, you want to be as defensive as possible, just to make sure that the trade run that you want to do doesn't cost you your ship, and you will be then back in the Sidewinder. Right. Oh no! Well, would you look at that? It now says I have insufficient fuel to reach Rakapala. Now that is a pain, because let's do this. It said that I could. So maybe that's something I need to highlight. 36 tons. How many tons does it need to be in order to reach? Now the problem with that is I can't go exploring. But I can reach that. I mean, you can look at all of these places I cannot reach. I got one option. I booties again. I think that might be something the Frontier need to look at, because you make a decision based on the navigation data that the galaxy map supplied you, and if you cannot, like I said, you just jump. You leave the station, you then go to jump, and you find all of a sudden the map was lying to you. That's a bit of a kicker. So I think I'll raise that one as a ticket later tonight. And what I'll do now is that I will then redock, sell some of the stuff I don't want for a loss already, and then we'll try again. I will leave you with this fantastic image of the space station. And welcome back. Right, we've managed to clear out a whole lot of cargo. Unfortunately, I've gone and lost about 500-600 credits. So as you can see here, we're now down to 24 tons of the 36. But Rakapilla is now in range. Now you're going to have to excuse all the pronunciations for this. I have got no idea how you pronounce half this stuff. We're leaving Commander Gideon Star, flying his Type 6. Hello to Commander Gideon Star. I saw you doing a barrel rolls on the way in. Well done, sir. Ooh. Now this is one of the issues that we do have, is sometimes you get a pause between going into hyperspace. Again, this is something that Frontier are looking at. It's a known issue, so yep, it's a beta. Bang. Right, one brand new sun. Where are we going? Stone Enterprise. Okay. 600 light seconds away. So that's a closer orbit than we are to our sun. Actually, no, it's further away. We are 8 light minutes away from the sun. 600 light seconds, that's 10 light minutes away. So this Stone Enterprise is slightly farther away than Earth is from Sol. No doubt someone with more knowledge of astronomical distances will tell me off at some point. Right, what I'll also do at this moment, while we're pulling back the speed, is I'll point out this thing with the fuel. Now here you'll see 2 bars, the thick bar and the thin bar. Now the thin bar is the reserve, and the thick bar is basically the fuel tank. Now the way I understand this is the thick bar is always used for your jumping. For your jump drive. Every time you use a jump, something comes out of the thick bar. However, the reserve is what's used in frameshift and in normal flight. And at the moment, the fuel's being used up at obviously a lot higher rate than you would normally in normal thrust. Now, as far as what happens when you run out of fuel, I haven't actually tested yet. I know some commanders have already tested to see how long it takes flatten your fuel tank, and you can broadcast a request for assistance, to which a ship will turn up and charge you an astronomical amount of credits just to refill your tank. I'm going a little bit too slow here for my liking. Of course, any contacts that you see on the disc now, on the scanner, are going to be other human players. Very useful to know, and one of the things we're going to need to know for when player versus player interdiction occurs. And that's when I think piracy will really take off. We do not know when that's coming. We do know that Frontier are working on Beta 2, but we won't have any new announcements until after the Gamescom conference, which is happening this week. In fact, probably in a couple of days. We know that certain members of the elite community are out there helping out right now. Ooh, okay. So it looks like we've got another Orbis with only one ring and a heck of a lot of cargo canisters. As you can see, the night sky has a kind of bluey tinge to it, kind of like the Frontier First Encounters. Now this trick that I'm going to show you here, where you can switch off the flight assist and boost up to the absolute maximum and it'll stay there, that's going in the next build. They've decided that that is not helping with the fun factor, if you see what I mean. Although I must admit, it is quite nice to be able to do this. So you can then just line up properly at the front, switch off the auto, switch on the flight assist, and hey presto, look at that, lined up. Very useful little trick that. Pity it's going. Now if there isn't enough profit to be made here, I'm going to take a risk and jump to another system, one of the extraction systems, and see how we do. Oh, yeah, better ask for docking permission, because you try and dock. Ooh, that was a bit close, Commander. Docking clearance timed out. Now this bit, I must admit, I do get a little worried about, because if a commander around here decides, ooh, fancy having a go at you, well yeah, you're a sitting duck. Ugh. So, hang on a sec. Right. There we are. Docking pad 14. And that's actually one of the good ones to land at. Oh look, you can see the shadow of my Cobra as we approach the, I think what everyone calls the toaster gate now. The wire toaster rack. Yeah, this is another federal system.
Docking successful. Engines disengaged.
First things first, always refuel, because you never know when fueling will be needed. Ooh, under 1,000 credits. Is there anything in the bulletin board? Mercenary work, long distance transporting. Can take basic medicines there. Uh-oh. You can hear in the background an explosion. Now that sounds to me as if some commander didn't manage to dock properly. And really some of the thing I should do is go into the hangar. But we'll just see if there's any profit to be made here. I don't think there will be, because it's an industrial. Oh, I take it back. HE suits. $6,000 credits. That's still not enough for some decent insurance, but let's see, is there anything else we can take back to them? Industrial materials, semiconductors, superconductors, pretty useful stuff. Clothing. Oh. This place seems to be seems to like its clothing. I wonder what would happen if we Right, we're gonna keep it at 20 tons. That's hopefully will give us enough jump distance to get to where we need to go. So we're in Stone Enterprise. I've got to remember Stone Enterprise.
Ship released. Engines engaged.
Right, we've got 5 minutes to clear the docking bay, and we have a Cobra which has decided just to hang there. Cod, who is wanted. The only problem with that is that... Oh, look at that hauler! Oh, that was gutsy. That was very gutsy. Okay. Let's try the galaxy map again so I've got an idea of where we're headed. Right. So we've got LP. Then we can either go to Blurg, which is an industrial economy. But what we're actually after, it's a refinery economy. So, I think we're going to head to Ross. Now you'll notice a lot of these systems belong to the Federation. The Federation is one of the 3 major power blocks in human space, and 4 major power blocks that we know of in the game. Now there's the Federation, which is based on something similar to the United States, but only instead of you having a full-blown democracy, it's kind of owned by the corporations. You have the Empire, which is, I think, based very, very similar on the old Empire of Rome. with.
Charging.
And then you have the Alliance, which is really bizarre because it's kind of based on the EU, where you have all these disparate worlds who are trying to stay together as for their own common interest. Only to get them to do anything together or decide on something together is like sort of herding cats. And ironically, out of the three major power blocks, the Alliance is supposed to be the closest you get to I suppose a white hat, if you like. Okay, so we're looking at all this stuff. Wow. So there's another star 5,000 light seconds away. And it's got all those planets from the other star. Oh no, there's 3 stars in this system. Wow. So, that's where we're going next. Ross. Let's turn it round, point at Ross in the right direction. And jump.
Drive charging.
You can see here that even though I'm able to actually jump, even though I'm able to jump about 6 light years, I don't use up all my fuel in one jump. So if you think about it, you've probably got a jump range of maybe 24 light years to work out a decent trade route. Admittedly, the last thing you want to be when you come into your target system is to be so low on fuel that you've got no escape plan. Right. Boasock Mines. I'll just point out, this ship at the moment, 2 Class 4 pulse lasers and 2 Class 1 gimbal pulse lasers, and that gives you a decent spread of weapons, enough to toast most of the sidewinders that would jump you at a given moment. I reckon with this setup you could take on quite easily a couple of Vipers, a couple of Eagles, maybe if you're lucky a couple of fellow Cobras. However, if you jumped or interdicted by 3 or more Cobras, or even 3 or more Sidewinders, then I think it'll be pushing it. At this moment in time, I don't know whether or not they've got the interdiction, interruption, if you like, right. I am going to some pretty hairy places which are marked as anarchy systems, and if you go there, you're expected to be, in the old games, you would be attacked by pirates left, right and centre, and it doesn't seem to be that kind of still, oh, when are the pirates going to attack, even in those systems. No, in my luck, I'll probably get interdicted about 1,000 kilometers from the station. Nope, no interdiction today. Oh, straightforward Coriolis. Excellent. Oh, this is an anarchy system. Hang on, this is anarchy and it's also Federation? Oh, look. Yeah. I mean, I wish they would actually show a little bit more information about those kind of things in this section. Apparently it's coming. And boost away. Got to remember that I've got my X-52 set up with the thruster overrides, which is always very useful when you're flying in flight assist off mode like this. And there you can actually see up ahead is another ship. You can see it by its trail, and it's heading in for a dock now. Let's switch. That was a very aggressive approach there. Wonder if that was another commander. Request docking.
Request granted.
There doesn't seem to be any other players in the system at the moment. I'll just pass underneath that that sidewinder. Head for docking pad 43. I might take a combat mission next just to test out these pulse lasers.
Docking successful. Engines disengaged.
Right. I mean, 70 credits for 3.5 tons of fuel. That doesn't seem too bad. It's not going to break the bank. Waste refinery service now offering freelance contracts in Ibutis. That sounds weird. Well, that is fantastic if you've got a small amount of credits, because that just means you can pick up 1 ton of bio waste, which would normally be 20-30 credits. If you manage to get all the way to Ibutis within 8 hours, they'll give you over 2 grand. Pity I'm not going that way. That's one heck of a markup. Right. Clothing. Yes, we've made a profit on the clothing. Almost double. So 8,000 credits. Now coming down here, there is no demand for advanced catalyzers after all that. So, right, great. Where to next then? Mineral extractor seems to be the big one they want here. That and HE suits. So advanced catalyzers, I guess that needs an industrial world. Or a refinery world. So we might head to a refinery world with some minerals and see how we do. Right.
Be aware of oncoming traffic in the access corridor. Observe minimum clearance.
Right, so we were at Ross 10:15. An extraction. Is it? Yes. Extraction. LHS 277 is also an extraction. However, Blurg or Borg, that's an industrial. So that is where we're going to head next. And it can take, I can, according to this, I can jump with as many tons as possible. So I'll just check that. Does seem that we can do that. So I'll go and fill up.
Fly smart, fly safe. Reduce your speed inside the docking bay.
76 credits. We're talking about flying by the seat of your pants. I get it wrong now. Straight back to the Sidewinder. And that's something you've got to be prepared for when you're doing this kind of risk.
Released. Engines engaged.
I mean, admittedly, I know the risk that I'm taking. However, if for some reason a bug causes you to lose your ship, which has happened to a few people, then that is a real burn for the poor sods that's happened to, including the good Senator Drew Wigar, who's one of the authors of one of the Elite books, who will be available at Fantasticon, which is an Elite or fantasy event run by the publisher of 5 of the Elite fiction pack winners. That was run as part of the Kickstarter. Now, Fantasticon is very similar to LaveCon in many ways, except it's happening in Hull. It's only a one-day event, but we do have additional celebrities all turning up. People who've appeared in Doctor Who, people who have been doing the audiobooks. And of course we're going to have plenty of Elite Dangerous stuff there as well, including Elite Dangerous on the Oculus Rift Mark II. And from what I have heard from a lot of people, that is a mind-blowing experience. I mean, I've used the Oculus Rift on War Thunder, and that was the Mark I, and that was very, very immersive. You felt you really were in the cockpit of a Spitfire. So I am really looking forward to giving the DK2 kit a try. Oh, hang on. Where is... Alright, Moxon's Mojo. That sounds fun. Where is Moxon's Mojo? Behind the sun. Well, we don't want to fly through the sun. This is federal jurisdiction. Yes, so I'm looking forward to catching up with a load of people at Fantasticon. Unfortunately, some of the people that I've streamed with before, such as Crash, he won't be there. They'll be elsewhere doing secret projects for Frontier. But I do know some of the Lave Radio crew people will be there, and some of the Dockers crew people will be there. But you've got to remember, rule number 1 about Dockers is that we do not talk about Dockers. And I'm looking forward to it. Oh, we're doing 27 times the speed of light. Oh, and we have our first interdiction of the evening. and interdiction when I'm down to 26 credit, 76 credits. I'm taking no chances. What we got? Oh, phew. It's just the feds scanning me for crimes. 2 eagles. So
Detecting hostile scan.
now sometimes they're very polite and say, right, yep, you're fine, off you go. Sometimes you just kind of guess, right, okay, have they finished? I guess they've finished. They're the impolite lot.
Drive charging. 4,
There we go.
3, 2.
We're 51 light seconds away. So, I mean, there are 3 main things that I'm looking forward to in the next release. We don't know when they're going to be coming. I mean, we've got mining. That'll be interesting to see. Exploring. I would love to see how the exploring mechanic's going to work. But the big one I think everybody's waiting for now is player versus player interdiction, which will lead to piracy. So you can then intercept other players that you see about on your scanner, drag them out of Super Cruise, and then it's up to you to threaten them or send a challenge or things like that. As soon as you do that, you'll probably have a bounty put against you saying, that's it, you're wanted for piracy. But if you play it right and you get someone to drop their cargo without actually destroying them, you could probably get away with just scooping the cargo, paying a small fine, and that should be fine. Should be fine. So much for eloquence. However, you start destroying your fellow players, the bounty against you will rise, and each time you pay it off, next time you offend, it will rise at an even faster rate, forcing you to use outlaw bases. Now that's one thing that we haven't heard or seen much of yet. It's outlaw bases. We don't know if they've hidden any in the system, in the yet another orbit station. I do quite like this, the orbit stations. They're very Babylon 5 like. Oh, up ahead you can see the contrails of a whole lot of ships manoeuvring very fast over there. They could be other players, or they could be just NPCs. I've seen NPCs shoot each other while in the station dock. That's quite amusing. Oh, going a bit too fast there. Let's pull that back a bit. Request docking right now.
Request granted.
That's a good thing about having sort of 10 minutes to perform your dock. You can still request docking while you're up to 7,000 kilometers, 7,000 meters away. So it should be plenty of time for you to get your approach right, which I've got wrong in this occasion. Line up with the toast rack and the docking port, and then you go. Now, I haven't actually tried docking in a Type 6, or God help, a Type 9. So, to be honest, a little scared of trying to dock the bigger ships.
Warning, landing
Oh,
gear.
landing gear. Forgot about the landing gear. Oh dear. You hear those noises? That as the station defense is opening up on somebody.
Docking successful. Engines disengaged.
Take no chances when you start hearing that. Turtle away in the hangar so that nobody gets in the way. I think that's the lowest amount of credits I've ever had, 38. Right. Oh no! They don't want lepiotite here, which is a pain. I'd lose 5 credits a ton. Oh, can't have that. Advanced catalyzers. They don't want them here either. Right. That's me a little concerned. And this is what happens for me not using the galaxy map properly. So minerals. So we'll clear all those and find out who likes oh no, it's only Dahan that likes them. Getting to Dahan will be difficult. Might have chosen the wrong thing to carry there. Machinery. Technology. Advanced catalyzers, here we are. So it seems that advanced catalyzers is wanted in LHS down here. Right. That's exactly where we're going to head next then.
Ship released. Engines engaged.
We have our last 38 credits. And there we have the wreckage left over from obviously what was firing earlier. Looks like the wreckage of either a Sidewinder or a... Ooh! There comes another Eagle pilot. Can I get past him? Just. Dipping the wing to get through there. Right, in order to get to the... I guess I took a wrong turn at Ross 10:15. Bit like taking the wrong turn at Albuquerque.
Detecting hostile scan.
Oh, shut up with your hostile scan. I'm legal. You know it. Assuming, of course, that is done by someone who's the security forces. If you detect a hostile scan in the middle of an anarchy, the chances are that's a pirate trying to work out whether you're worth raiding. Oh. Right. Ah, it's funny that I'm not mass locked anymore.
Drive charging.
Now, as you are close to items, such as the starport, you'll find that it takes longer for your frame shift and your hyperspace, your hyperdrive to charge up. The worst thing about all this, of course, is when you were in a hauler, what was happening was people, when the hauler was first released, people would fly close to other players who were in a hauler. And that would mean that it would take them a long time to charge up their hyperdrive. So long, in fact, that
Drive charging.
the heat mechanic would overheat and your ship would explode. All because someone else was having a look at your pretty new hauler.
3, 2,
And there we have it. If I manage to sell all my cargo down here, then I think I'll have to call it a night, because probably had enough of me wittering on. Here we go. So that's plenty new systems explored that I've never seen before. It's been quite fun losing money. I started with 15,000 credits, and you have to see what we end up with. But in order to get rid of the rest of this cargo that I have, I'm going to have to do a couple of long haul trips to Dahan just to get rid. But I must admit, I haven't seen a single soul since we left the Core 8 systems that are part of the premium beta. I had to do a quick braking maneuver there to make sure that I didn't overshoot, otherwise it would be passing the planetary body at 20 times the speed of light when you actually want to get close enough to dock at the station there. Not recommended. And looking, we have only one contact in my friends list who's available, but I don't know whereabouts he is. Head wobble's a bit annoying. Be interesting to see how the Oculus Rift handles that. And some of the comments that you see in the Reddit about Elite Dangerous and the Oculus Rift have people saying that they're in tears because this is the kind of thing they've wanted since playing the original game back 30 years ago. the kind of feeling that you are there, sat in your Cobra Mark III. And you've got the entire galaxy in front of you. Ironically, it does seem that the Oculus Rift, if you're doing vehicle games, such as in an aircraft, driving a lorry, driving a car, flying a spacecraft, it is very immersive. If you try and use them using first-person shooters, apparently it's not as nice. Doesn't seem to work as well. There seems to be still some kind of disconnect.
Request granted.
Right. So that request was made 2 kilometers outside. Slow it down a bit. I've changed my tune since the Viper. I used to be able to dock straight at full speed, but now that I'm in my Cobra, maybe it's my age, maybe Cobras are more, you have to be more of a careful driver. And there we have it.
Engines disengaged.
We don't have enough credits to refuel the tank at the moment. So just check the bulletin board, because you never know. Mineral extractors and consumer technology urgently sought. Competitive rates. Fair enough. But this is the important one. Static furnaces. Advanced catalyzers. Yes. 3,000 credits. 740 credits profit per ton. 5 tons. There we have it. We're exactly in the same place that we were when we started. Oh, but here they want lipiodite, or however you pronounce it. So it's 26 tons there. Profit of 7,000 credits. Look at that, 31,000 credits. So out of my initial 15 grand that we started with, I've doubled it. Being a little bit of a putting the feelers out, but that's a nice little profit and happy ending to end this top shift with. That's top shift, I might as well point out. Some people have been thinking I've been saying something else. You know who you are. Right. Thank you very much for bearing with me, and good night.